Hello! In today's Archaeoscoop, my top 3 headlines are as follows. Headline number 1 comes from right here on the River Tyne in the northeast of England, in fact here in Wallsend, where the Tyne and Wear shipyard's collection, a library of images, thoughts and information about shipbuilding on the Tyne, has been selected to go into the UNESCO Memory of the World Register. These are a selection of culturally significant events, happenings, times, areas which are being stored for the good of humanity essentially, so that these significant events aren't lost over time. The library will be digitised and available for people to take a look at, and I'm really excited about this because for a long time, certainly since I've lived in Wallsend, if not in the northeast, I felt very strongly that people need to take more notice of more recent archaeology, in particular urban archaeology, industrial archaeology in the northeast of England, and this selection, one of only 11 in the whole of the UK, really I think it vindicates the status of, for example, the Swan Hunter shipyard as being for a good long while a real powerhouse of the world's shipbuilding, steel, trade, commerce. And a real cultural hub and centre. Wallsend was once a bustling place filled with people from across the world. So very, very interesting and also very exciting news. I know that in the news story on headline number 1, you have a quote from a former shipyard worker who's extremely pleased about this news as well. So that's headline number 1. It's recent archaeology, but it's well worth saving, definitely. Headline number 2 actually comes from Perugia in Italy, where some opportunistic looters about 10 years ago or so were extending their garage, and they came across a hoard of Etruscan urns. And over the past few years, police have been closing in on them. 2 years ago, a major clue came forward in the shape of a photograph, and a few days ago, the case finally came to trial. It seems that they weren't exactly the brightest looters in the world, certainly not professional looters, but the hoard consisted of 21 delicate travertine marble urns, and the authorities are very pleased to have been able to stop them being sold abroad, because it's likely they would have been, as selling them in Italy is very difficult. However, the story does quite rightly take some time to point out that archaeologists say that, well, only half of the find has been actually recovered. The other half, the context and the situation of these urns, will never be recovered. They've been lost forever. So in some ways, these are simply shells now. They're no longer culturally significant artifacts. They are, in as much as they reflect an art style, but it would have been great to actually get that context, to understand how they went there, how they came to be there, and their relationship to each other. Nonetheless, good news, once again, looting halted on the Italian peninsula. Great, good stuff. The third headline today actually is a bit of a strange one. It's a puzzling medieval complex which has been found in Somerset in the south of England. It's puzzling because supposedly there's no records of this complex ever having existed, even though it's a series of buildings, and some of them look as though they're quite impressive. Floor tiles, high quality building materials used. So archaeologists are rather curious about this one. I've included 2 headlines under this one, 2 news stories under this headline, one on archaeoscoop.com, the other one from the BBC. Again, an interesting find, and hopefully we'll learn more about this in coming days and weeks. So there you go. As ever, those news stories, along with other news stories in the past few days, can be found in the video information. They're there for your delectation and delight, for your careful reading, and they're well worth the read. Quite a few interesting ones, including 5 things that people take for granted about past civilizations, which they possibly, or indeed, well, really shouldn't do. So check those out, have a good time having a good read of those. I am ever so slightly sunstruck. You may well notice I'm looking redder, or possibly, hopefully, a little bit tanned, I don't know, than usual, because I've just spent 3 days out in the sun. It's been great, but I am very, very tired. Today I've got various things to do, including publishing this and a couple of other videos and tidying the house, because we have guests coming over this evening to Archaeoscoop Towers. So I'm going to get on with that so that Mrs. Soup doesn't slap me round the head. So anyway, have a good time reading those news stories. Do have a great day, and until next time guys, bye bye.